Hi everyone. So for week 1 and into week 2, I wanted to go through a couple other handouts on here. This is going to be sort of a page you can subscribe to. All of our notes will be kept on a YouTube channel if you ever lose track of anything, which would be really nice to kind of keep together. If you didn't look from week 1 already, I'm right here in our week 1 materials. There's a couple extra forms that we might want to check out to help you have better access to understanding what we're going to be looking at. The first is this reading glossary, and if you click this, a PDF comes up on here. Most especially if you aren't familiar with reading American literature quite often as much as maybe you wish you were. This is a glossary of different literary terms that certainly we'll be using throughout the entire semester. This is a great place to go to make sure that during your discussion posts, when you're responding, however that may be, or when we're in class together, these are great places to go to give you hints about where you might want to start the conversation or look for some of these literary devices in your readings. It might seem kind of basic to go back. I'm sure some of you remember some of these from high school. You have your classic of foreshadowing. We're going to talk a lot about characterization, look for dialect, allusions, irony, and so forth. But I even really like to go back and look at the basics of this just to make sure that I always know the correct definitions of what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with going right back to the beginning and making sure that you know what it is that you're looking for. These are standard literary terms and forms also to keep in mind, just so you know what we're looking at in this class, and eventually if you do take other literature classes in the future. So from there, you can look at different literary elements. And from here, take it all the way down to some of the other vocabulary that we might be using in this class. Again, there's no need to memorize any of these things, but certainly having them sort of handy for yourself, having them near you, I think that no matter what point you're at in looking and reading and kind of just going through your materials, no matter what level you're coming in at, these are always just great places to go back to the beginning to make sure you know where they are. If you go back to our modules tab 2 in week 1, I'll also encourage you to take a look right at the very bottom, if you didn't already, at the close reading passage. Here, I think, is a great way to start as well. I was going through some of your initial posts, and you can see my replies and my comments on them. But as I was going through your initial post, I thought it was really interesting to see what some people picked out in your response to my question. So I think that if you're talking about doing a close reading of something, this is really where you're picking apart details and you're picking and commenting and really discussing with yourself and others about your thoughts from the reading. So not only are you taking some of these concrete literary devices and expanding on them, but you're also looking and providing a reading so that you're trying to seek out some answers in what it is that you're looking at. So these are also great places to start. You know, what are the first things you noticed about what you're reading? The second things, what do you notice about vocabulary? Particularly with Charlotte Temple, I know some of you said it was a little bit difficult to go through some of the vocabulary on here. But again, that doesn't mean it's necessarily a hard text. It just means it's a little bit different from what we've been looking at. So I'll encourage you to very much so look at the vocabulary of what we're going to be reading. Also in discerning patterns, you know, think about what images come to your mind when you're reading. It shouldn't be a surprise that sometimes you have to read something once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times to get that mental picture in your head. You know, we're very fortunate that some of the things that we're reading have visuals to them. Some of them have movies, some of them have materials, but a lot of them don't. So we have to form our own sort of basis of what we think some of these should look like. I think this is also a great place to look at the punctuation, what's interesting, what's different about it. A lot of writers play with punctuation, so it's a little bit different from our academic writing. Is there repetition that you can see? How many types of writing are in the passage? So again, who's your narrator? Is there a lot of description? Is there a lot of dialogue? You know, Charlotte Temple particularly has very short chapters as compared to some other things that we're going to be reading. So these short chapters, I think, even though there's a lot of them in the book, help you stay engaged and help you go along the way to just kind of follow the plot line. Things and other areas to consider and to look at, you know, very important is the point of view. Who's, you know, taking us through? How does the passage make us react or think? What do you think about the characters? Is there physical description that appeals to your senses? So it's very interesting enough. We're dealing with Charlotte Temple here, which is sort of this transatlantic novel, literally taking place overseas and then moving over to the United States. So you've got two parts that kind of come together with this. But again, this doesn't mean you're going to touch upon all these areas in the close reading of a passage, but by passage, I mean anything that you're reading, a chapter in a book, a paragraph in a book, a section, a line. It doesn't matter how short or how long it is. Hopefully some of these questions can get you started, again, just to help you a little bit more develop some of the language and the thought patterns that you want to be thinking about as you're reading through these texts. These also can go for any book that we're reading. It doesn't have to be just for our first book. It can go for all of our books that we're looking at throughout the semester, and you can apply this also to other classes where you're doing a great deal of reading, both fiction reading, nonfiction reading, perhaps even poetry and plays and other genres that you're looking at too. So take advantage. You'll find these once again in our week 1 module. The other resource that I put up here was your literary time periods document that I went over in class. Again, I went through this kind of quick since we were running out of time, but make sure you sort of look at and try to match up. We'll have some questions on this, some of the materials that we're going to be looking at in terms of where we're looking in the time periods, what genre and style we're looking at, some of the characteristics, and just what's going on in history at this time. What's going on in the United States, what's going on worldwide in particular as well to help influence this. So again, when you go through this text, pay close attention to sort of what we're looking at in terms of, just time periods. Now, obviously we're starting back much later, than we anticipate. So we're into sort of the, 1700s with our first 2 books. But that's not a bad thing as we go back and look at that as well. The other thing you can find this week are additional resources to Charlotte Temple. These include some scholarly pieces that others have published on her. These include some other questions that you might want to consider, and just think about if you do want to write about Charlotte Temple perhaps, or speak about her for one of your assignments. Susanna Rowson's book, you will find a great deal of scholarly information on. Much has been written about Charlotte Temple, which is very cool to kind of have. So make sure you listen to the audio notes that I have from last week. I'm going to keep continuing with week 2 materials for this week. I'm starting to go through. Let me take you through right now into week 2. So for this week, we're not meeting in class, if you remember, because of observance of MLK Day. Hopefully you're all staying warm. Please make sure, as I'm posting them, to listen and watch the notes for week 2. These are really, really important, especially since we're not meeting in class. I've got a whole bunch to guide you through the middle parts and the ending of this novel. There will be responses that you're going to make sure you post your response to me, my questions, by 10 p.m. This week, you do need to respond to your peers. That's really important. We didn't do that for week 1 just because we were trying to settle in. So make sure you're constantly, after you post your responses on Wednesday, on Thursday and Friday, make sure that you're going through and also posting your responses to engage in conversation. There were some wonderful responses that I had going through this week. You also want to complete, there's a short quiz for week 2 to go along with our readings. You'll want to make sure that you look at that and complete that as well. So we're finishing Charlotte Temple this week. If it wasn't your favorite, I'm sorry. It's okay. It's a little different, I know, to get started with, but it is a very fast read. I kind of read like a modern day soap opera, and I'll get more into that a little bit as we go. We're going to be starting The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. We're only reading the first 5 chapters, so it's pretty short, and I'll have some introductory notes to get you into that too. And check out other extra materials on both books, in particular, like I mentioned above here, looking at the resources and the resources that will be for The House of the Seven Gable. As always, let me know if you have any questions and concerns, and I can't wait to keep going through a lot of these materials with you. I know the first 2 weeks are a little bit easier, just doing some standard responses, but we're going to get into more other areas of Canvas and just some more use technology in a better way to help us respond and get through our class materials as well.